And we are live on the first map of the 5th step of Trackmania Grand League. This is contest diving made by Nadio and Firestorm. This was the deciding map in the previous step. Now we have it as the first one here. Let's have a look at the warm-up and see if the players have been able to make some adaptations. We saw Revolution actually win this map in the previous step. Got some nice points out of step 4, but he is looking at 14th place overall right now, and hopefully gets another good round on this one to get closer to those playoffs. I think he would desperately need it right now. We saw also both Carl Jr. and Martin actually fail this map in the previous step, and they are not here this time. So perhaps the level is higher than ever now. See, Yulu bonked on the turn there. But we are coming into the identity now, and in the warm-up we see Bren and Spam in the lead, followed by Tween and then Massa. The identity on this track, if you haven't seen it before, the players have to line themselves up sideways, do a slide around this water edge, and get up back on the road. The ending of the lap can be a bit tricky as well. You'll see a tight jump to the right here, just past that water ledge where Bren almost fell off. And that's gonna be the map. So guys, get some support for your best player in the chat. Whoever you are cheering for, type go player name, they will see the hearts on the scoreboard and know that you guys are cheering them on. But here we go. We are on to the first lap, and let's now see what the players have been working on these last days. Packed field right now. Everybody getting the dirt well. Now we go on to the second dirt part. You want to go as wide as possible on this corner. You can see the players staying very close to that outside edge, and that is to make sure that they get the most speed out of the dirt turn. Now we go on to the road turn again. Got some drifts. See players like Massa and Tween, who are really good on tech, especially Pack as well, excel in this part of the track. And now we have a few more turns before the identity. Scrappy though, with a huge mistake on the wall bang. Looked like he got turned around 180 degrees. And that will drop him down to 14th place. He went for a bit of a risky strat where you hit the wall, but let's see the identity now. All players are going for it. Oh, Massa with a very risky line gets past it. Did anyone drop down here? I wonder if Pack did get it. Matt did get it, so we have a close field. Everybody survived it. Oh, someone fell down massively, and that was Revolution. Revolution with a poor landing. Not looking to win this time around, I think. That is 4.5 seconds behind now, and should maybe put him out of the fight for first. And in the fight for first right now, we see Papu, Spam, Tween, and Bren. Different lines coming out here, but it's a very close fight as of right now. But he got past the dirt well, it seems, and let's see here if Tween and Spam will now get more ahead. Bren and Papu, as they are specialists of this style of track. Seems like Bren is able to keep up. Papu has dropped down a bit. You can also see different lines. Players have opted to go for it. Bren though and Papu now with the great wall bangs. They are going to jump up to first and second. And Bren really needs these points right now. In this step, he's in 9th place, which is just at the edge of playoffs. There, small faceplant on the checkpoint, will survive it though, and it seems like all players got through this one quite nicely. You see 10 players now within 1.5 seconds, and oh, Matt with a very slow landing there, unfortunate. You can see laps of 120 come out. In practice we have seen players be able to do laps that are low 119 to 118, so they are driving about a second off the best known pace, but keep in mind that these maps, this step, have gotten longer The maps are about 10 seconds longer per lap, so those extra 10 seconds do add up to an extra minute of driving, and it can be very exhausting to play at this high of level for an extra minute going super close to the wall. So some players maybe have now opted to go a bit safer, to just try to stick it out and not make any big mistakes, and that might be what we're seeing right now. So now we have third time around, players going for the wallbang here. Ryuno as well going for it, does get it well that time. See now how the identity will go for our players. So they are dropping into right now. Aurel with a bit of a poor landing, makes it through. Oi, 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 oi. Kappa and Matt, I think, both fell off the track there. And Matt now is at least able to jump to the right, but that was unfortunate indeed for these two players. Will drop down now, over 10 seconds behind. So let's see now again. In the top, we see Tween and Bren. This time around, they drove a 119.8, which is very solid. Anything 119 here is a good lap, and they will be happy about that pace if they're able to keep it up. So we can have a look at the current standings. We see Brennan first, Tween second, Papu in third, Massa fourth, Spam in fifth, Ryulu 6th, Coco 7th, and Scrappy in 8th. It's a bit weird to see the scoreboard now with only 14 players, but that is the situation we're in. And I'm sure the players are happy now that there is at least 2 less players to battle for those bottom 6 positions this time. Usually it's 8. Still early days in the step though. Players are just looking to get as many points as they can on these first 3 maps with no chance to lose their points. Oh, they were there with a very wide line. Maybe that's what he's been practicing, but it did look very risky. Gets through it just fine. Muscle there with the wide line. Will have more speed here, and it does look good for him. Next lap. Lap 5 out of 6 already, and Scrappy there. 119.52. Has actually made his way back now up into the field. If you remember, Scrappy had a terrible wallbang in the first lap, and he's now in 5th position again. So Scrappy seems to have recovered well after his mistake and has made his way up. One of the fastest players on this map in practice, but also known to be a very risky player. So you'll see Scrappy, he goes all or nothing usually for these maps, and this time it seems to be something in between. He's in 4th place now, caught up to Spam, and it's not too far actually up to the top. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but Scrappy, huge comeback on this map from dead last in the first lap to 4th place. It's great to see. Let's have a look at the battle on the top. There's 3 players who have been driving much faster than the rest, and it's Bren, Tween, and Papu. So we go into the 5th time around in the identity, and these players have it under control. Scrappy does get it, Massa gets it, Spam gets it, and the Ryulu gets it. That seems to be the field. We have Pack a bit behind that again, and then the differences get wider and wider. Last lap now, battle for map win, and Bren might be out of it ever so slightly. He touched the dirt house on the transition after the multi-lap, and will be in 3rd place, half a second only behind. Manages to stabilize. And let's see if anyone will push it again. 100 euros on the table now for this map win. You see Bren, oh, he's actually pushing it. Gets up to Tween again. Only 0.3 behind Papu, who has the lead under his control right now. He won 3 maps in the previous step. The only player to win 3 maps in a row. And will he get another map win in this step? Would be huge boost for him, as he's in 3rd place overall, but with this he could contest for 1st perhaps in this step. Goes for the wallbang, does get it well. Bren gets it well. Tween a bit behind that again because he didn't go for it, but Tween is good on tech, and he's pushing to try to get ahead of Bren now, and he will actually overtake him here. So we go into the final identity now. Really close between the players. Let's look at Bren as they jump into the last identity now. Papu in the lead. Tween going wide, and Bren will overtake Tween. Tween in 3rd. You have Scrappy in 4th, Spam in 5th, a bit behind that again, but let's see if Papu is able to get this last landing well and get the map win. Papu with a slow landing, and it will actually be Bren and Tween ahead of him. And Scrappy gets 4th, Spam gets 5th, Mossa gets 6th, Pack in 7th, and Ryulu in 8th. And wow, Papu there must have felt so snubbed for the map win. With that unfortunate landing on the water edge, lost his speed, and 100 euros will go to Bren instead. Very close match there though, 8:04. So 6 lap time is a good time. These 3 players were driving just about the same level. You can see how close it is, where one landing will put you to 3rd instead of 1st. But that will be this map. And as we can see, Bren now 20 points. Should he be able to keep these 20 throughout the step, he will jump up into playoffs. So that's good luck for him. Need to see him keep it up though on the next maps. Scrappy will get 2 extra points for the fastest lap time, a 1:19.5, which is a good lap time in a match. But now we're going on to the second map. It's going to be just skidding. And we are going live on just skidding. The identity on this track is this dirt part behind the multi-lap that you can see. The interesting thing about this part is that there are no brake blocks before the dirt. So when you drive over this block, you are no longer allowed to brake. And it's a bit of a curse on this map, because if you go too fast across the dirt here, you will lose control and drop off the edge. We'll have to respawn. So very important to have good speed management on this track, not just in the identity but also overall. You'll see it here too as they go through these checkpoints. There's tight margins and players need to drive good lines. On this part here, players go very wide up on the dirt corner to jump over that red freewheeling block, which enables them to accelerate all the way to the checkpoint. If you accidentally touch that block, you lose about 2 seconds. Now we have the last turn as they go into the identity. So you're gonna see it here. The no brake block. Players make sure to have the right speed before they go for it, or else they will fall off like Scrappy did. One more here, and you can cross the corners quite riskily here like Papu did. And Papu drove a very good round here in the previous step. Won 100 euros there. Perhaps he's able to make it up for that first map today where he didn't get the map win, and get himself a nice paycheck this time around. We'll see. Anything can happen, guys. And we are going live. This is the second map, just skidding. Let's see how it goes. We're spectating Papu now in the first lap. We have this first jump here. In the first lap, this jump will not be a problem, but you will see players maybe fail this in the coming laps, as that jump right there is quite tricky to get. We have a long full speed turn here, followed by a tricky drop down where you have to go through the checkpoints. You're gonna see it here. Some players like to go in that triangle of the checkpoint between the beam and the checkpoint. Some players like to go outside. Looks like everyone survived here. A small mistake from, actually a big mistake from Revolution, dropping down 5 seconds. Will be behind. You can see Roland didn't get over that freewheeling block, and that loses a significant amount of time to the top players. Apart from that, we have a pretty packed field here as we go into the first round of the identity, and let's see if anyone pushes a bit too much. Matt with a lot of speed there. Will he be able to recover? Oh, Kappa wasn't able to recover. Kappa decided to respawn. Now we have the second identity here. Matt pushes a bit too hard. Bit too much speed there on the entry. You could see he was trying, but that is how wrong it can go. Drops down to 13th place now, 6 seconds behind the field. In first right now, we find actually Bren again. Will this be a massive step for Bren now to secure himself playoffs? All it takes is one good step overall, and it could be the the nail in the coffin for those players for him. In 9th place in the league right now at the beginning of the day. But if he plays like this, then I wonder if anyone's going to be able to deny him that spot. 2nd place right now, we have Pack in 10th place overall in the league. Needs a good step as well. And Massa, actually. These players are hungry for points, and you can see it in the way they play. Pushing very close on each corner here. And we're going into the 2nd time around on the identity. Who will get it this time around? Bren and Massa, same lines. They will get it nicely. And Ryulu together with Tween, Papu, and Spam with a small touch actually gets across. Very important that he didn't have to respawn there, because that is a long way back, the checkpoint. Gets across nicely. Scrappy with a small bump on the jump. Failed the release timing a bit, but no worries for him. He's still alive in the race. 3rd time around now through the checkpoints. We've seen players fail this because the margins are that small. Tiny steering adjustments to get through, and Ryulu does touch it a bit there. Puts him 3 seconds behind. So luckily able to keep a lot of speed there. If you have to respawn, it's disastrous. You have very low acceleration on grass, so I think he's gonna take that and be glad his car stayed on its wheels, although he lost some speed. Still in the fight here for sure. So we might see more mistakes on the identity. 3rd time around. Oh, Coco fell off the right edge there. Ryulu will get 1 spot at least. Passes also Aurel now up to 7th. Pack has made a mistake. Or maybe actually saved it. At least he dropped down quite significantly, 9th place. This Pack, who was in the battle for 1st. Brendo still keeping the pace. 1 second ahead of Massa now in 2nd. And 1 second ahead of Papu again. So 2-second lead down to Papu. And Bren might get 2 map wins in a row here if he keeps this up. It's also good to see Tween performing now. Tween, who was in 8th place actually, the start of the step. One of the favorites to do well on the new maps, the 3 new maps. So map 4, 5, and 6. We're gonna see those coming up later. And Tween has been driving very fast lap times on those in practice. Let's see the 4th time on the identity. Oh, Tween. Okay, he does make it. Good stabilization there to get his car under control. And we see Ryulu now in 5th place. I wonder if that was due to Aurel's mistake, but Aurel is close behind as well. And I can point out, guys, that the lap times they're driving, 1:05.31 is a great lap time from Bren there. There's no wonder he's 1st, because 1:06 low is already a good lap time. 1:05.31 is just mental to do in a match. And wow, something has sparked in Bren this step. The way he's playing right now, nobody is able to keep up on this map at least. Very cool to see though. Bren, one of the best players, had some stumbles early on in the Grand League, but now he's looking good. I mean, he lost 30 something points in the 1st step, didn't really get it to work in the 2nd step. The 3rd step and the 4th step weren't much of a success either, but now it seems maybe he's poised to get some points if this last lap goes well for him. We see Ryulu has dropped down. Ryulu might have made a mistake on the identity there, and that puts him down to 8th instead of the 5th position he was holding. And Pack has made his way up to 4th place again, even though we saw him stuck a bit. So that kind of shows how hard this map is. Players can make 1 or 2 small mistakes, because everyone except Bren and Papu, it seems like, have made some small stumbles. We see Bren right now still in 1st, Papu in 2nd, Tween 3rd, Pack 4th, Aurel 5th, and Spam 6th. 5th and 6th actually. Aurel made a mistake, and Ryulu in 8th, looking to catch up to Aurel. Wow. Let's see Bren right now. Nobody is close to him. All he needs is to get past this one last identity, and he will win 200 euros in the first 2 maps. First turn looking good. Second turn looking good. One more no braking part, and the money and the points will be his there. 40 points in the first two. Excellent performance by Bren. Papu in second, Tween third, Spam in fourth, Massa fifth, Arel in sixth, and Ryulu in seventh. Pack gets eighth, Scrappy gets ninth, barely ahead of Matt in 10th, and Coco now will actually get 11th. Kappa had overtaken him but fell off. That gets Revolution 12th, Kappa gets 13th, and Roland gets 14th. 6:39 there by Bren is a great lap time. Great match time, I should say. I think the winning time was 6:41 by Papu last time, so a full 2 seconds faster now from Bren, showing dominance this time around. And we saw Kappa has left the match. I wonder if he's doing some settings. We'll see. But anyways, guys, we are going into the third map, which is going to be Wavebreaker by Firestorm and Nadio. And we are going live on Wavebreaker. Third map here, you can see the nice stadium roof in the intro camera. And this one is gonna be a doozy. We saw Papu here driving dominantly in the fourth step. He got a 6 or a 7, I think it was a 6:49. Anyways, a great time. Tween has been going good on this one. I believe Scrappy has been good here. And if we look at the scoreboard right now, we can see that Eirik Holdal has joined the Grand League in 15th place with a great performance so far this step. He is one of the best players from Norway representing us in the Grand League. It's always good to see. I'm just kidding. Don't know why Eirik is up there, but if we look at the current standings, guys, we have Roland in 14th. We have Kappa in 13th. Revo in 12th now. And Matt in 11th, and these players, except for Kappa, really need to do well this step. They are in a dire situation in the league. You can see Matt, Revolution, Coco, and Pack. All they are in the mix still, but they need a good step this time around to really get up to those 8 playoff positions. There are only 8, and they will not be given out easily. In the warm-up here now, you can see the identity on Wavebreaker. That is the 3 dirt jumps there that the players will have to pass. It's a specific line that the players are going for to get the jumps, but if you lose speed at any point, then you will not make the consecutive jumps here. So it's important to get that every lap, especially if you want to be in the fight with players like Papu, who will drive fast the rest of the lap and nail the identity. So we're gonna see how it goes, guys. This is the last map where the players can comfortably drive and keep their points. In the next map, it's gonna be all or nothing. So first lap here starts out with some dirt, this one, followed by the identity on most Firestorm maps, that platform transition from grass. You'll see it on a lot of tracks, and this one is no exception. Into the full speed part we go. We have this wall ride transition here, followed by this drop down, and it's important to minimize airtime there. Now we can see the platform transition one more time, an inside turn here between the pillars, and it looks like all the players have gotten that pretty well. No big differences, only small mistakes, slightly bigger mistakes from Matt. One small touch there puts him 3 seconds behind or so. But let's see the first identity right here. Oh, Arel with a touch, and he will not make it. Scrappy with a touch, he will not make it. And you can see in the case of Scrappy and Arel that they didn't make one jump, they don't make the following jumps. So they will now be about 2 seconds behind there. after the first lap though. But look at this from Papu. He's already gotten half a second on everyone else in the first lap. Drives a 120.7, and he is looking hot on this one. Will anyone be able to challenge that? I wonder. Has not shown any signs of weakness on this in the fourth step, and I don't know if we'll see anything come out this time around either. One of his best maps so far in the Grand League. We have a bit of a look at the field as we go into the full speed part. Looks like everyone was able to keep a good speed after that big jump. Revel though, good lines coming out. Has been improving on this one. Let's see now as we go into the second time around on the identity section. If everyone is going to be able to adjust, you know, it's a new feeling. If you haven't been playing this one, you've been practicing the new maps and you come back to this, it can be a bit of a difference, but Coco's 2 times around has now made a mistake on the identity. Kappa makes a mistake, and not a good look there. You want to get that every time, but it is harder than it looks for sure. No easy task to pass it, especially with gears and all to watch out for. So players are adapting nicely. We see Spam actually up to second now in a battle with Papu, the only player who's been able to keep up closely now with Papu. Drove a better lap that time around. Now only 0.4 of a second behind in the second one. See Tween in third, Bren in fourth right now, and Bren, if he gets fourth on this track, he's gonna go into the last 3 maps with 50 points under his belt. That's almost as much as he has gotten in the first 4 steps of Grand League in total, and he is looking for a massive step right now. If he can keep up this performance, will basically double his points or more out of this in the best case, and that's great to see for him. See Scrappy right now in catching up to him though, and Scrappy has been looking good. I think if he gets one more step here, he will feel very confident to get those playoffs, and it's going to be good for him, especially with the things with this organization leaving Grand League, putting him without an org behind his name, but hasn't made him play any worse it seems, because he drove really well in step 3, got a semi-good performance in step 4, and is looking good now too. You can see Papu though has dropped down, had a small mistake there, now 2 seconds behind actually, and Spam up to first, so that's good for Spam. Spam, who finally had his breakthrough in step 4, finally got some points. It's good to see, because he was getting pretty desperate in that step, but that time around he did get, I believe it was 50 points, and now he's looking for more. See Yulin right now, he's in 7th, 13 points on the first 2, but that is okay by him. I don't know if he's not necessarily looking for points right now, because he does have a lot overall. I think what he wants to do is just drive consistent, get in the mood, and go into those last 3 maps with a good feeling. And if he gets the identity good here 6 times, then I'm sure he will get another spot or 2 and go into the last 3 maps with 20 points or so. Spam though, first place. He drove faster than Scrappy that lap. The laps are driving 117 low. No, they drove about equal actually. Scrappy with the best lap, 117.58 that lap. But 117 mid, 117 low, that is great lap times for match. I think for anything lower, you are going to push it a bit unnecessarily hard in the turns. So good pace coming out. Now gaining 0.6 on Spam here. Will Scrappy be able to do that? I wonder. See a close battle for third. Papu has caught up a lot. You remember he was 2 seconds behind. He's made it down to 1. And we shouldn't count out Papu just yet for the battle for the map win. But we might have to count out Pack there with that touch. Puts him 2.5 seconds behind. And it is so close on this one that if you make that mistake, then you are maybe out of the fight. So 5th time around on the identity. the one before the last one. And these top 5 players are looking good. We have Spam in first, we have Scrappy second, Papoo third, Bren fourth, Wirtual fifth. And now let's see as we go into the last one. Spam 0.5 ahead of Scrappy, driving consistently solid in this match. Papoo there, 1:17.29, and he will need another lap like that if he's gonna get this map win. Let's see though if Spam and Scrappy are able to defend against the Frenchman. One more time across the big jump here. Important to line up far to the left for this full speed part. Spam gets it much better than Scrappy. Will probably carry a bit more speed through this wall right now and makes it up to 0.53. Gets a few hundreds there, but that's what you need. Scrappy actually not touching the platform. Wonder why he likes to do that. That might let Papoo catch up to him with superior speed. And you can see Papoo is getting closer to second place right now. Does overtake Scrappy in that turn, and it will come down to the identity actually, or will it? Because Scrappy makes another touch and Brennan Wirtual gets closer to him, but he still remains third. One more time across the identity now. Will Spam get the map win? He does touch, and Papoo will actually overtake him. Papoo with a good landing there. He will make the last obstacle, and we will overtake Spam. Scrappy will overtake Spam, and Wirtual is just behind him. This is such a close battle. Bren touches, he's out of it, and it will be Papoo first, Scrappy second, Spam third, Wirtual fourth, and Bren there. He risked it all, gets 9th place there, but a valiant effort. Revolution and Packet 5th and 6th, Aral 7th, Tween 8th, Kappa 10th, Massa 11th, Coco 12th, Matt 13th, and Roland 14th. Wow, one small touch in the last identity is all it takes there. Spam didn't clutch that one out, and Papoo will get the map win, a 7:51. That is about 2 seconds slower than the winning time in the last step from Papoo. But if you remember, Papoo made a 2-second mistake this time, so Papoo, very consistent, apart from that one touch, will still get the map win. But anything can happen now, guys. Let's have a look at the points before we go into the deciding maps. We have Papoo in first with 48, Brennan second with 47, Tween in third with 32, Scrappy in fourth with 31, Spam in fifth with 31. They are tied for fourth, Wirtual in sixth with 23, Pack in 7th with 22, and Massa in 8th with 21. We have a 5 or 6 minute break coming up, guys, so we're gonna have a quick interview with Wirtual and see how he's feeling. Get your support for your player in the chat. Let's see those hearts on the scoreboard for whoever you are cheering for. Let them know that you have their back in the last 3 maps here, because it's about to get very intense as players now risk losing everything. There are 2 parts of the scoreboard. There's a green part and a red part. If you are in the red part at the end of the race, then you will lose all your points that you've accumulated so far. So everyone is trying to make sure that they are in the green positions. So here we go in the first lap of Free Spirit. Let's see what the players have learned. Wirtual with a very inside line there. Seems to pay off for him. Jumps up into first place in the field. Let's take a bit of a wider one there and ends up middle actually. Oh, Scrappy with a weird landing. I wonder what happened there. Hits the wall right after, and Scrappy will drop down to 14th because of that. 31 points under his belt that he potentially risks losing now. 2 seconds about is what he lost from that, but it's not decided yet. Ahead of him we have Roland now in 13th. And then we see Aurel in 14th. Here we go though. First lap of the identity, and Bren has landed upside down. Has the turtle to the checkpoint. How much is he gonna lose from this? He is 7.5 seconds behind, and Bren 47 points. He was looking so good, but now it might all fall apart. 8 seconds behind, and I don't know if he's gonna be able to recover from this. Disaster strikes for Bren there. And that is very unlucky to see. He was playing out of his mind on the first 2 maps, but will drop down there now. And we find Coco in that 8th position, far ahead of Bren, where Bren wants to be right now. You hate to see it, you really do, but that is the brutality of TrackMania Grand League. one mistake and you will get punished for that. You gotta drive consistently and drive fast as well to keep up with the best. They will not wait for you. Everyone wants to be in the top 8 right now, and they're pushing all they can to make sure that they keep their points instead. Right now we see Pack in 9th, trying to catch up to Coco. He has 22 points, and Arel has made a bit of a comeback, it seems like. Went from 13th to 8th. Now we go into the identity again. You can see some players like Pack respawn, but others are doing a 180 turn there, and that is the fastest method to turn around inside the checkpoint. It is considered to be a bit more risky because you can miss the checkpoint by drifting too early, and you don't want to do that, so it's a risk-reward type of situation, and Pack here hoping to just drive a consistent, good match, I think. We see laps of 1:23.11 coming out from Massa in second right now. And we talked about it, a 1:23 low, a 1:22 high is a very good lap time. And Papu and Massa have both been driving that 2 times now. So we go into the third lap. We have Papu in first, Massa in second, Spam in third, Tween in fourth, and we find Ryulu in 5th. Only 1 second behind that again, so certainly a close battle yet between these players. One more time across the platform drifts here and into the dirt. Will Ryulu be able to capitalize now on his dirt skill and get a bit closer to Spam and Tween ahead of him, who are both tech players? You can see he gets a bit of a better line there. I think he catches up ever so slightly, or maybe the others are dropping down a bit. Either way, does close the gap a little bit before they go into the identity. Here you can see the 180 turn. He did get the checkpoint this time. I was about to say that Ryulu almost missed the checkpoint a second time like he did in the first step, but he does touch the checkpoint line and can continue his run there. Very, very close. Millimeters actually from potentially dropping down into the bottom 8, but does make it out alive. Had to hesitate a bit to make sure that he did get it, but is alive right now in 6th place. That is a bit closer than you like to see. It seems like Massa has touched the wall there a bit ahead. Had lower speed than all the other players, but did get another 1:23 that lap, so even with the mistake, he's still in 4th place. And first right now, we see Papu again on fire this step. 48 points in the first 3, and is looking to get this one right now ahead of Tween. Tween, one of the favorites as well that we mentioned coming into this step, has been driving a good practice on this map. He has a 8:20 in practice as the final race time, which is ridiculously fast. We're probably gonna see like a 8:23-24 here coming out from the players in total. So Tween looking great in practice. Can he deliver in the match right now? Keep this up and get himself some more points now. Very much needed for him. One more time across the identity here. Seems like everyone has made it fine. If you touch the wall after getting the booster there, it is quite disastrous, so you want to make sure not to do that. But these players, of course, know the stakes and they know these maps inside and out. Over 1 week of practice, driving around in laps together on these tracks to get as fast as they can, as consistent as they can, and get the best lines that they are able to execute in matches. And you can see them coming out right now, all of these hours of work that these players have put in to make it to Lyon. We are on the 5th lap right here though, and if we take a look at the battle for 8th place right now, it is between Coco and Scrappy, only 0.3 of a second, and Coco actually has closed the gap right now. It is dead even between Scrappy, him, and Pack now, and you want to be on the green side of this battle. You want to be in the front of these 3 players to secure your points into the next map, otherwise you will lose everything. Scrappy, after that first lap mistake, is actually trying to make the comeback, and I wonder, he lost 8 seconds in the first lap but seems to have stabilized. No, was it Bren actually? I think both Scrappy and Bren made a mistake, and Coco makes a huge mistake. does not get the 180, and you can see how much punishing that is, because he will get passed by Matt now and drops down to 11th place. So wow, that might put Coco out of the fight for 8th place, and he could potentially lose 13 points right there. Last lap, guys, and we see Papu still in first, Tween is still second, and Spam is still third. These players have been driving really fast. A 1:22.92 by Tween, a great lap. You see Revo and Ryulu and Masa shortly behind that. Revo, small touch, still far ahead of Araldo. And this battle between Pack and Scrappy is fierce right now. Both of these players want to be in the top 8. And you can see how close it is. Different lines coming out, but they are about equally fast in the end after each corner. Scrappy shortly ahead though. But let's see in the dirt right now where we might see some differences. Scrappy might be the dirt player of the two. Could get a bit of a lead here going into the last identity over Pack, and it seems like he will get about a 10th or so of a second. Or will he? Pack with a better exit. They're actually almost dead even. Both respawning here. Did Pack respawn too early? Oh no! Pack has actually respawned too early in the checkpoint, and he will not keep his points after that. Let's see the battle for the map win. It will be Papu, Tween in second, Spam third, Masa fourth, Ryulu fifth, Revo 6th, Arel 7th, and Scrappy will take that, will take those points and say bye-bye to Pack, who did respawn too early in the identity. Unlucky for him, still gets 5 points for 9th place. And of course, Bren here, sadly with that lap 1 mistake, loses 47 points. And that will put him back to square one now. Has to refocus, try to do well in the last 2 maps, and get the points that he can out of this step that he so desperately needs in the league overall rankings. Let's see now how the standings look after this map. So we go into map number 5. We have Papu in a clear first right now with 68 points. We have Tween in second with 46. We have Spam in third with 43. Scrappy in fourth with 37 after he miraculously kept his points there. Masa in fifth with 33. Ryulu in sixth with 32. Rel in seventh, and Revo in 8th, 27 and 24 points respectively. The 5th map, guys, is going to be Sapling, and this one is going to be crazy. Alright guys, and we are on to map number 5 in step 5. This map is called Sapling. It's built by MD Point, and the identity on this one is the Sapling that you can see right here. The players have to jump on top of the Sapling, drop off to the side, and jump up through this checkpoint here in the middle, go over to the other side to this checkpoint, and jump back on the Sapling again, going on to the multi-lap. It is a bit confusing. You're gonna see it in action. It will make more sense, but it is one of the hardest identities that we've seen so far in Grand League. And despite many hours of practice, players are a bit shaky on this one, which is understandable because it is that hard. Let's see now. We have a few turns left, and then we have the identity. This map is composed of a lot of technical parts, a bit of dirt, and of course some full speed. Have one more turn here, one more transition, and then the identity. So here we can see it. The players go up on this ledge on the side, they jump onto the Sapling, drop off to the side, and now they want to keep their speed, jump up through this checkpoint, drop down on the other side, and jump on to the Sapling again. They have to execute this 6 times in a row, and you can see Coco dropping off on the side there, and it is a very, very technical identity. So give the player you are cheering for some support in this one, because they will surely need to know that people are cheering them on in this one. as anything can happen in that identity. Let's see how it goes. Into the first lap now. Massa with a small mistake drops down, did touch the wall, and will find himself in 14th place right now. Let's have a look at the field. Bren lost 47 points in the last map, in 12th place right now. Matt though clips the edge and will drop down and be out of it for now. Bren looking now to catch up and get himself into the top 8 overall. He would need 2 good last maps here in order to do that. Was driving well in the first part of the step, but now he needs to do it again. Back to 4th points and nothing really to lose here. Climbing his way through the field up to 7th as we go towards the identity first time around. Will anyone fail it? Let's see. A bit behind the field now we find Pack, who is in 11th. Let's see as they go into it. First part, jump onto the Sapling and drop off. Revo going on the right side actually. Interesting line from him. We're gonna see him meet them in the middle here. If he did make it, it didn't look like he made it actually. And he might drop down. Second part, jumping onto it and down. I think Revolution dropped down quite significantly. Now 10 seconds behind. Scrappy as well has dropped down. And they both actually have a lot of points on the line here. Scrappy 6 seconds behind with 37 points to lose. And he needs to make another miraculous comeback. Previous map, he had a mistake in the first lap and was able to keep his points, but will he be able to do it again? I don't know if he's gonna be lucky to have someone respawn too early this time, so he will have to pull something out of the hat. Scrappy, if he will keep his points this time around. Massa now up to 8th place after that first lap touch. You can see that the differences get bigger and bigger as the race goes on. That 1 second mistake isn't that big in the big picture when the race goes further and further. Is up to 8th place right now, 33 points on the line for him. Let's see if he's able to keep them and get himself finally a good step. He's been not really getting the best steps so far in the Grand League, hasn't been able to keep his points consistently, but will he be able to get at least a good step now going into the last one? Let's see if he's able to get this identity. Second time around. Looking good here on the first part. The second jump onto it can be a bit bumpy, so you want to get a clean landing here, and Massa will do just that. Into the third lap they go. Did Scrappy make it? Scrappy makes it. Bren makes it as well. And Coco. Oh no, Coco has made a huge mistake. Lucky for him, he didn't have that many points to lose though, but he is 15 or so seconds behind. Yeah, Coco is out of it on this one. In practice, the best player on this track that we've seen, and the player in first right now, is Tween. Tween has apparently driven a 8:25 here, which is ridiculous. And he is able to drive laps of 1:22 is what I've heard. So Tween looking great right now. The best lap so far is a 1:23.73, but I think that might change. For a good match time here though, I'm sure we'll see like a 8:29 if the players get through cleanly. But there is still a long way to go. We need to pass this identity 4 more times. And let's see if they're able to do it this time around. Here we go. Oh, Kappa with a bit of a shaky landing there. Oh, he might lose speed there, Kappa, because of that landing. He will not make it up. Yeah, I could tell that was not a good setup. Arel jumping almost too low, but he does make it through. Arel so close to clipping the checkpoint there. But he will make it and remains in 6th place. Wow, it is so close. The margins are small. And Scrappy now finds himself only 2 seconds behind 8th place. He was 6 seconds behind earlier, so will Scrappy now, if he drives consistently, he might actually be able to make it up to that top 8 again. It's going to be interesting to follow as we get further into the race. Right now, Bren occupies that 8th place position. He has made a mistake, so it will not be a top position for him, but will actually have to keep his points here for him to get closer to those playoffs. Very, very important for him. There's only this step and 1 more left next weekend for him to do it on. If if he wants to make it to the playoffs. On the tail of the field right now, Kappa chasing shortly behind him after that identity mistake. And Kappa now, nothing to lose behind him, so Bren is not going to get this 8th place for free. We'll have to work for it, we'll have to push for it, and we'll have to survive this identity. 4th time around, Pack with low speed into it, and Pack barely makes it, but does he have the speed for this part? I wonder. He will actually make it over into the checkpoint. And now the second jump onto the Sapling. We see Ryulu has made a mistake, drops down to 9th place right now with 32 points, and that is no bueno. Scrappy with another mistake, and no bueno for him either. He is over almost 10 seconds behind, 37 points on the line, and needs to get 10 seconds up to Kappa, actually, not up to the leader, up to Kappa. Ryulu also needs to get 6 seconds up to Kappa, so we will have to see a mistake from one of the 8 top players. Should he be able to keep his points here now? That identity is so brutal, and there will be no mercy for any of the players if they fail it. We see Spam though has been able to catch up to Papu and Tween, finds himself in 1st place right now, and this could be another great step for Spam if he's able to keep this performance up. Spam, who finally got his breakthrough on step 4, now looking to do it again on step 5 and actually get very much so into the top ranks on the Grand League. Let's see in the identity, he gets a bad landing and Spam will not make it across, and Massa will overtake him into 4th, but Massa doesn't have the speed, and Aurel will overtake him. Aurel now up to 3rd, Bren actually up to 3rd because he overtakes Aurel. And will this be the breakthrough for Ryulu? Who, no, Ryulu has maybe made another mistake. Coco is upside down. What is going on? Everybody is failing, it seems like. Scrappy is in 9th place, shortly behind Matt. How on earth is Matt in 8th? Caster has no idea what's going on. Massa now down to 8th actually, and Scrappy might be able to catch us up. We're into the last lap on Sapling, and Scrappy, if he's able to keep his points here, I will not believe what is going on, because Scrappy was far behind. But this map is so hard that anything can happen, and it is getting closer, only 0.6 of a second up to Massa. Many points on the line here, and this is going very close. Want to take a quick look at the battle for first here between Papu and Tween. Only 0.3 of a second, and they are driving laps of about 1:23.5. Maybe looking to be a 8:30 winning time. We'll see as they go into it. One more identity for either player here. If they get it, they will be able to keep their points, but who will get the map win and the 100 euros? Papu now looking solid. Good landing on the first one. Goes into it on the second jump. Gets, oh, Tween with a lower jump, but Papu with more speed on the exit, and if Papu gets this landing, it will be him who takes the map win. And it will indeed. Papu first, 100 euros, congratulations. We have Bren in 3rd actually, Aurel 4th, Kappa 5th, Pack in 6th, Massa 7th, Matt in 8th, and where is Scrappy? Will Scrappy be able to make up this gap right now? It is 0.6 up to Matt. Matt with an over tilt on the Sapling. Scrappy has more speed, and Scrappy will actually clutch it into 7th. Matt gets 8th, Massa has dropped down, and Ryulu will... Oh, Spam dropped down as well, yeah. Ryulu gets 9th, Spam gets 10th, Massa gets 11th, Coco 12th, Revolution 13th, and Rollin with a DNF. That was a crazy map, wow. So back and forth. Scrappy there in the end catches up to Matt, but both of them keep their points because Massa made a mistake, and unfortunately for Massa, he lost 33 points. Big losses coming out there in that round. Ryulu minus 32. Spam minus 43, Massa minus 33, Revo minus 24, collectively over 120 points lost that map, and that is how brutal it can be. They will be back to square one now as we go into the last map. We have Papu in first with 90 points. What a step from him. Might be the best step we've seen so far this Grand League if he gets a map win on the last one. Tween in 2nd with 60, Scrappy in 3rd with 44, Aurel in 4th with 37, Brennan 5th with 16, Pack in 6th, Kappa in 7th, and Matt now up to 8th with 11 points. Anything can happen though. We are on to Star Case, and here we go. So this is Staircase. Ladies and gentlemen, the identity on this track is gonna be intense. We have this final staircase down to the multi-lap down there. And the fastest way for the players to pass this is to drop down directly to the checkpoint on each step here. And even on the last one to the multi-lap, you can drop down, take the multi-lap, go between the into the triangle of the multi-lap, between the pole there and the multi-lap, and onto the bubble into the next lap. You'll see it in action. It is a hard trick to execute. Some players actually don't go for it. They find it too risky, but we'll see if the players who do it will actually be able to clutch it out, because it is a challenging technique to pull off in a match. But here we go. You can see Staircase in the map in action. It's a very fast-paced map here. If you make a mistake in this section, you can expect to lose many seconds, because it does not slow down until this turn here. We have a drop down onto the platforms, and now a zigzag turn in the uphill, and then we have the identity itself. Ryule now in first in the warm-up as they go into it. So for this first jump, you gotta release late, get your car over the top of the hill there, and now they drop into the checkpoint. You can see Massa here going very directly at the checkpoint. Scrappy with a poor landing, and now you can see some players go for it, some don't. Here is the bubble technique, while you saw players like, I think it was Aurel actually, didn't go for it. So the technique is faster if you execute it, but if you fail it, then the players who don't do it will capitalize on you and claim your spot. Here we go. Last track of Step 5 of Trackmania Grand League. Get some support in for your player. Let's see who survives here. Oh, we already saw a poor landing. Was it Bren? Bren with a bit of a stumble there on the dirt. Loses speed in the landing. 14th place for him now. Only a second lost though. Over the course of the race, that would be nothing, but will he be able to keep his mentality now for the rest of the track? That remains to be seen. Has managed to stabilize for now. Now we are spectating Spam, who lost 43 points on the previous map. The biggest point deficit right there. Will he be able to stabilize and get at least some 20 points out of this? We see Coco touch there. You can see how punishing this is, because he has no speed until this turn and will lose about 2.5 to 3 seconds, I believe, to the leader. See Scrappy now finds himself in 7th. Miraculously, he has kept his points on map 4 and map 5, but he will have to do it one more time here to secure his points for the step. As they go into the identity, will everybody make it? Looks good for the first landing. So go into the second one. Will everybody get it? Sorry. And it looks like it's gonna go well. Spam there goes for the bubble technique, and he will catch up a few spots on the players who didn't do it. Matt has dropped down a bit. Another poor landing will put him behind Revolution in 13th. Only Coco has made a huge mistake, it seems like, in 14th place right now. 5.5 seconds behind 8th place. You can see Spam in 9th right now. A close battle. Bren has actually made his way up to 8th place right now after that lap 1 touch. In a battle between Scrappy and Spam. Now we go into the full speed section right now. Very important part to get right. The most punishing to fail, because you will have lower speed. You need to go very close here. Spam gets it good actually. Will have more speed than Tween there. Gets a bit closer to that 8th place. And Pack will join him on his venture to the top. Will they be able to catch up here to Tween, who currently holds, that's also important, 8th place with 60 points on the line? Tween here needs to secure this step if he wants to be in the playoffs. This is very important for him. 60 points is a lot, and he will have to secure them. Goes for the bubble technique and will get it there. Oh, goes super close on the inside corner, but makes it out alive. Remains now in 7th. Scrappy makes a mistake on the dirt. And will he get passed by Spam? Oh, he does just barely. Now down to 9th, down to 10th. It's a very close battle, but one small mistake like that, and maybe another one here. No, he makes it out alive. Still though, Needs now to get almost a second up to spam, I believe, with the lower speed. Yeah, 0.83 is the difference. And Scrappy, wow, this could be another miraculous comeback, or it could be disaster for the Belgian, who has gotten out alive twice. But will he get the third time charm in the Grand League now and keep his points? It remains to be seen. Let's have a look at the battle for first right now. We have Ryulu in second, only half a second behind Aurel, who maybe we haven't talked the most about this step, but he has been keeping his points. 37 he holds right now, and this could be a great step for Aurel if he gets this last map well. He's driving laps of about 124, which should be more than enough for getting through, but at that pace I wonder if he is driving consistently or if he's risking. You can see here he is one of the players who doesn't go for that strategy, just drifts and takes it here instead with a bit more speed, but it does lose time, I believe. Driving it consistently though. Massa touches a bit, Kappa might get a bit closer to him that way. Ryulu has dropped down to 11th place now and is in a battle with Roland. Will get him, and now needs to gain 3 seconds up to Matt, who is barely ahead of Tween in 8th place. So Ryulu there, maybe not feeling that good after previous map where he lost his points, so said he wasn't feeling the best this step, and might be showing here. I wonder if he's able to compose now though and drive a good last 3 laps here, and it might just be enough to get into top 8. We'll see. The level is pretty high. He will need to get up to Tween there ahead of him, and Tween here is in a position where he will not give away time for free. 60 points on the line, as we said. Scrappy shortly ahead of him with 44. They are on the edge of what they need. Cannot afford to save at any point here, or players like Matt and Ryulu will catch up to him. One more time into the identity we go. Looking at Tween now. Gets a good landing on the first drop, gets a good landing on the second one. Not a good landing on the second one. Matt overtakes him, and Tween now into 5th lap. He is 0.7 of a second behind Matt in the battle for 8th. So that's one landing, and Ryulu has made a further mistake there. Might have tried to push a bit extra to get up, but it will only bring him down on the scoreboard, so it won't be the best stuff for Ryulu here this time around. You can see Aurel there has extended his lead 2 seconds ahead of Massa, and Massa is making a good comeback here on the last map. So far, at least 4 points only. He lost 30 on the previous map, but I'm sure he will take these 12 points that 14, sorry, that he will receive for second if he's able to close this out and be somewhat happy with the step. Papu right now with 90 could potentially get the best step so far in Grand League we've seen this year. If he's able to close this out now in 3rd place, he would get over 100 points in the step alone and would secure himself and more for playoffs. One more time across the identity. Let's see how these 3 players do now. Papu with a different line. Might be a bit of a safer approach. Lands on the curved block instead of the flat one, and will work out for him as they go into the last lap now. Needs to do that one more time to secure himself, and behind him Kappa is only 1 second behind. Bren is about 1.5 behind him. We have Spam in 6th right now, Scrappy in 7th, and Tween in 8th. Massa drops down actually as I say that. Probably got a poor dirt landing, and Massa now on the edge of the field again. We have Tween in 8th still, and Tween is probably shaking in his boots right now because Matt has been chasing him all race long. He's been in that 8th place. He knows the difference. Down to Matt is only 1.3 seconds right now, and he will have to keep this up to secure those points. It could be huge for Tween in the overall standings right now if he gets this. And the same for Scrappy, securing himself into those playoffs. Same for Aurel. It will all come down to this ending actually for these players. Everybody gets past the full speed part. Now we go into the zigzag turns, and then we have one more identity. Seems nobody could get close to Arel this time around. Papu 1.5 seconds behind, but that is a comfortable lead for Arel into the last identity. And should Arel get this, he will get another map win under his belt and very good points for those playoffs. Gets the first landing, gets the second one, and with his line, that should be it for first place. Congratulations to Arel in first, Papu in second, Kappa third, Spam fourth, Scrappy fifth, Brent sixth, Tween in seventh, Matt gets eighth because Mossa has dropped down, and that is actually a good step for Matt now, who will secure himself with the best lap and those points for eighth. Matt gets actually a pretty good step for himself in that eighth place. Players who didn't make it out, oh, Iriulu there has left the game, probably not too happy about this one. That is understandable, of course. It is not a good feeling to lose your points, to make mistakes. Anyways, we got Mossa in 9th, Pack 10th, Irevo 11th, Irol in 12th, Iriulu 13, Coco 14. And Papu there, 104 points this step. Insane performance again from Papu. No doubt he's in the playoffs right now. 232 points overall, and what a performance that is from him. Looking at the step again, Arel there gets himself 57, Tween gets 67, Scrappy with 53, Kappa 24, Bren 24, a good 24 for Bren. I'm sure he would have hoped for more, but he'll take that. Matt in 7th with 17, and Spam in 8th with 15. Look at the overall right now. Papu in a clear first, ahead of Carl Jr. And let's see if the scoreboard will update now. We can see the final standings after step 5. It's not updating yet for me, but I hope we can be able to see it. Oh, here we go. So we have Papu in first with 246, over 50 points ahead of Carl, who sadly couldn't play this step. He's still in second though. We have Iriulu in third, Scrappy in fourth, Tween in fifth, Arel in sixth, and Kappa in 7th. Spam in 8th now in the Grand League, but you can see it's getting a bit closer here. Bren only 10 points away from Spam right now. If he had kept his points, he would be in that top 8. That's how close it is. Matt also up to 10th right now. 59 points. Will need a massive last step to get into playoffs. I think it's going to be between Spam and Bren for that final playoff spot in the last step. Unless we see Mossa or Pack or Matt pull out something huge in the last step. It remains to be seen. But that is going to be it for step 5 of TrackMania Grand League. Thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in next week for when it will all be decided.